Hey, we're back. We're back for FP2, baby. Sorry if you tuned in earlier. We did have problems, and we still do have problems with our live timings. We have got a workaround. Um, so we will have live timings, as you can see on the screen, for free practice two. It's not actually our usual beautifully presented data, but we've got it. We've got it for this session. So yeah. 4 o'clock. Well, 10 to 4. 10 to 4 Friday morning. And I feel bad moaning about it because we have to do this like once a year. Of a middle of the race, a middle of the night race. Yeah, 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to forgive me if I'm a little bit delirious. I've got another coffee. I'm a little heater on. It is cold here in the UK. So yeah, interesting FP1. We saw Charles Leclerc quick, unexpectedly quick actually for me, for the Ferrari. I wasn't expecting it to be quick, but quick he was in FP1. I know FP1 doesn't really tell us everything. I'm expecting to get more of an indication in FP2 just how competitive the teams are going to be. I'm still expecting Mercedes to show some performance. I'm expecting them to show it in this session, actually. Max, obviously, quick as always in recent times. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting session, FP2. I think we're going to get some real indicators on who is going to be competitive. But yeah, I'm going to say at the chat. Hey Gemma, hey Sal, up at this ungodly hour. Last race, Lewis v Max. Not 100% sure what you're saying there, Sal. Obviously, last year in Las Vegas, it was a George Russell masterclass. P1 in qualifying, P1 in the race. But we did see Charles Leclerc in 2023 qualified pole here in Vegas. And if you look at his early performance for this Grand Prix weekend, FP1, he put that Ferrari P1 again. So far, so good. So I've got beeps going off everywhere. So far, so good, really. I mean, Hamilton, though, we do need to talk about the fact that Hamilton was 7.5 tenths slower than Leclerc in FP1. That's pretty significant. Let's see if that gap between the two Ferraris decreases in FP2. Get in the chat and tell me if you're watching in the UK. Who else is up at 4 a.m. for FP2? Who are the hardcorers? Yeah, don't forget, we've got lots going on this weekend. We've got FP2 now, FP3 qualifying tomorrow, and of course the Grand Prix. I'm here for it. It's character building, this 4 o'clock in the morning stuff. I've been up all night. Truthfully, I've stayed up since the FP1, which is 12:30. It's good though. It's F1, baby. It's Vegas party time. I wonder how many people who've stayed up like drinking all night. I did think about having a beer at 12 o'clock actually when I was doing FP1. I thought, oh, I'll never make it. I'll never make it to 4 a.m. Of course, it'll be 5 by the time we finish. But I do like Vegas. Lots of places to overtake. That's the good thing about Vegas. Like it's a track where it's low downforce, lots of overtaking. I actually like a street circuit. I know Max Verstappen was in the press yesterday saying that he thinks that the F1 calendar, there should be, if they're going to increase the races, then they should decrease the amount of days a Grand Prix run over. So maybe just 2 days instead of 3, because they all have to do the press day, don't they, first day, and then you've got, they're saying just get rid of practice basically. I think some of the mid to lower teams though wouldn't appreciate that. Did I just hear it's raining in Las Vegas? God. Okay. So rain for FP2. Well, that'll make an interesting FP2 then. I mean, if there's rain in the race, that changes everything. You got drivers like Lewis Hamilton who are absolutely superb in the wet. Obviously, Max Verstappen, wet weather specialist. Might change my predictions. Doesn't look like it's raining on television. Just looks like Vegas. Mm. Yes, not long till we're kicking off with FP2. Get in the chat and tell me where you're watching from. Oh, they're looking at the Williams livery again. The Vegas livery for Williams, superb. Yuki Tsunoda, by the way, third fastest in FP1. And for Yuki Tsunoda to be third fastest in FP1, I think will do him the world of good for his confidence this weekend. I think we all know that Yuki is not going to be driving for Red Bull next year. I think we all know Yuki is not going to be driving for Racing Bulls next year. He's probably or definitely not going to be in Formula One. So he needs to. I mean, it must be an awful position because for Yuki, because he's probably thinking, "What the hell?" You know, I'm having to play backup dancer for Max Verstappen. So you know, he's not even going to really get to showcase himself in the last few races, I don't think. Well, yeah, it's tough times for Yuki Tsunoda. But then again, if he does make way, he makes way for Arvid Lindblad, who'll be coming to the Racing Bulls team next year for 2026. Isaac Hadjar. Yeah, I just got a good look at. If any of you seen Lewis Hamilton's helmet for for Vegas, it's the blingiest helmet I think I've ever seen. Hey, Lygen, nice to have you with us, my friend. At this ungodly hour, 4 a.m. in the UK. You have to excuse me. I am delirious. But in FP1, just to give you a quick update on what happened, we saw Yuki Tsunoda third fastest. I think that's notable. Charles Leclerc, fastest of all. But Yuki Tsunoda quicker than Max Verstappen in FP1. I mean, that'll do his confidence the world of good. I'm quite sure Yuki, though, is playing, you know, that sacrificial lamb role. I'm sure Yuki gets told what his setup's going to be whilst they are investigating how to best prepare Max's car for the Grand Prix. And that's the role Yuki has to play. he's still holding on to some hope that maybe he'll get that drive in the Racing Bulls for 2026. But the writing's on the wall, right? Yuki's not going to get that drive. I'm sure Helmut Marko's already decided that Isaac Hadjar moves up to Red Bull and Arvid Lindblad gets promoted from F2 into that Racing Bull seat. I think they're wise to keep Liam Lawson. They've been saying it's been a head-to-head between Lawson and Yuki for 2026. But I mean, truthfully, why would you lose? How could you keep Yuki? I mean, if it's purely on performance and potential, and who deserves the drive, I think it has to be Liam Lawson over Yuki Tsunoda. And I like Yuki as a person, but he's had more seasons in F1 than Liam Lawson. I think Liam has done enough in his first season to show that he has got a much higher ceiling than Yuki Tsunoda. But having said all that, Yuki Tsunoda was third fastest in FP1, which I think is, I'm pleased for him. It's all going to be too little too late, though. I don't think Yuki can do enough in the next 3 races to convince Helmut Marko that Yuki needs to be part of the Red Bull family. Maybe as a reserve driver, sure, but I don't think he gets a seat in the Racing Bulls or the Red Bull. I don't. Like I said, maybe as a reserve driver. Maybe they'll offer him something like that, and maybe he'd take it. I don't know, but after so many years as a number 1 or a number 2, it's hard to drop down to reserve driver. But we saw Valtteri Bottas do it, didn't we, in Mercedes this season, and now he's got his drive at Cadillac for 2026. So even if Yuki does end up in a reserve seat, it's not necessarily the end, is it? And then let's say Arvid Lindblad gets his opportunity in the Racing Bulls, and let's say he's not good enough. Although when we saw him in FP1 in the Red Bull, I can't remember what, it was a couple of Grand Prix ago. He was very good. I think he was like 7th quickest, and he was really good. So I do think he's going to do well. Although his F2 season has dropped off. He was lightning quick at the beginning of the season in F2, and then towards the end of the season he just dropped off a cliff. Everybody was talking about them, weren't they? So I think the track's a little bit wet. I think it's been raining. FP2 has started. No one out on track yet. Nico Hulkenberg found a little bit of pace. Maybe they've been playing around with the ride heights. I mean, Fernando Alonso is convinced that some of these lower mid teams have been running illegal ride heights. Well, yeah, I think it's more to do with the way they manage the skid blocks on the plank wear, to be honest. Okay, so our data is populating. This is good news. I don't think anyone's going to be a rush to get out there, to be fair, because the track is wet. The track evolution is going to be severe. It's just going to get, when the rubber goes down, it will definitely be quicker. But I don't think anyone's in a rush to get out until some of that water clears. It's a great Grand Prix, though, Vegas, isn't it? They put on such a show that you wait till race day. Every celeb you can think of will be on the, on the grid. Martin Brundle's grid walk's going to be, it'll be celeb, a couple of influencers, I'm sure, a couple of YouTube stars. Okay, so Gasly, Russell, Colapinto, Ocon, Lawson, Behrman, and Hadjar have all taken to the track. I'm expecting to see an improvement in the Mercedes. They're only, well, I think they're around sort of P7, P8. Not surprised. Russell is currently quickest. Sector 1, Sector 2. At the moment. At this early stage. See, they were talking about rain. The track actually doesn't look that wet. Oh, Legend, thoughts on Lando's helmet? Oh, I know it's a brilliant artist. What's the guy's name who's done his helmet? And let me just find out. It was Werner Bronkhorst. Yeah, I mean, it looks a little bit like a cabbage, doesn't it? I think from look, it looks a little bit like a cabbage to me, Legend. But I get it. You know, designed by famous artists. Honestly, I think winning. I tell you who got the memo. Lewis's helmet, because it's Vegas. I'm talking because it's Vegas. To go with like the razzmatazz of glitz, glamour, and sparkle, looks like a big diamond. Actually, he's on the telly right now. It's yeah. Lewis's Vegas helmet is winning for me. The green of Lando's. It just reminds me a bit of like a cabbage. I'm sure if I saw it up close and personal, I'm sure it's a brilliant piece of art. But so for Vegas, I think it's got to be sparkly. I think Lewis wins. Lewis wins on the helmet front for Vegas. And actually, I know we were talking the other night on the preview show about the liveries, and I was going, oh, the Williams livery, oh, it's so good. And I do still think the Williams livery is awesome. But under the lights, the Racing Bulls Las Vegas livery, the holographic element, I think it looks great. But yeah, on the if in fact that should be the poll. You sparked something, Legend. Who? I'm gonna do a poll now. Which driver has the best helmet? Lewis Hamilton or Norris? Okay, we've got a poll running. That's a great. You set something off, Legend. It won't let me vote, but my vote is Lewis Hamilton. It's brilliant. It's so Vegas, honestly. It couldn't be any more sparkly, could it? Like it's made out of diamonds. Well, it looks like it's made out of, I can't never say this word, Swarovski crystals. That's what it looks like. It's so bling. I mean, I do like Vegas as I like a street circuit. I know not everyone likes a street circuit, but I do like a street circuit. Russell, currently quickest with a 136.1. Hamilton, P2, Colapinto P3, Leclerc P4. Everyone's out on the medium tyre. We'll get more because everyone wants to get a long run in, you see. Get some good data. I think we'll see the quicker times towards the end of this session. Obviously, we'll be on the soft tyre, and people will be wanting to see on a flying lap. They'll be trying to dial in those setups by then. But at the moment, just to remind you of my predictions, just in case I'm right, I think this is going to be a good weekend for Mercedes. We didn't see it in FP1, but I did think that George Russell was the one to watch. He's my P1. And then Max Verstappen to be P2. And then I said Lando Norris P3. But the McLarens look like they're going to struggle here. And so maybe Lando might even get P3. P3. Then I said Kimi Antonelli P4. And then I said Charles Leclerc P5. Now, early indications tell me that Charles Leclerc might do far better than P5. I mean, could you imagine after all of this drama that's been going on at Ferrari for like since Sao Paulo? You know, all the comments from John Elkin, the backlash from the fans. You know, John Elkin telling the drivers that they need to focus on driving and basically stop talking. And the backlash from the fans, but you know, because he also said how well the engineers were doing. The pit crews are amazing because they've been so consistent with the pit stops and they're at the top of the DHL competition for pit stops. I mean, it was just, it was awful. Everybody supported the drivers after that. Yeah, you know what's the best thing the drivers can do? Well, do the talking in the car, and Leclerc's looking like he's doing that already so far. Hamilton's at the fastest first and second sector. Oh, Hulkenberg's just ruined like a hot lap of Hamilton's. Oh, Hulkenberg. Hamilton, fastest first sector, fastest second sector. And then Hulkenberg really slowed him down. He lost time in the final sector, but he's still gone P1. But I think he'll be annoyed about that. Hulkenberg just loitering on the racing line. Yeah, because even in practice, you can't just float around on the racing line. If you're changing settings in your cockpit or whatever, you still got to be aware of the guys on a hot lap behind you, even in practice. Hulkenberg was, yeah. I'm pretty sure Lewis Hamilton's furious about that. Rightly so, because Hulkenberg was out of order there. I mean, that must have cost Hamilton half a second. Good job it wasn't qualifying. That's all I could say. We have got a poll running. Who's got the best helmet? Lewis Hamilton or Lando Norris? Both brought special Vegas helmets. So far, we've got Lewis Hamilton winning the race. Not many votes for Lando Norris's cabbage helmet. The big green cabbage. It looks like it does look like a vegetable. Lando Norris's helmet. It sounds awful because an artist has obviously put a lot of time and work and love and care into it. It's just not for me. The green helmet of Norris, just not for me. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton definitely got the medal. Someone's voted for Lando's helmet. Well, that's it. That's the thing about art, right? Everyone's got different tastes. So for me, it just wasn't the right. I do think Lewis Hamilton's. For Vegas. I think it's the one. So George Russell up there. Legend says it's just not race material. I agree with you. It looks like it should be part of my Christmas dinner, like a Brussels sprout. You know, those little Brussels sprouts that you have it, you know, with your Sunday lunch or your Christmas dinner. It reminds me of that. It's not a look I'd want for a helmet. So Russell and Antonelli, P1, P2. Are the Mercedes going to show a little bit of pace? You've got Gasly up there, P3, Leclerc P4, Hamilton P5. Piastri, fastest in. He actually is fastest of all in the third sector at the moment. Norris, fastest of all in the second sector. And we've got Russell, who's fastest of all in the first sector. Yeah, I mean, the McLarens, I'm just not expecting a lot from this weekend. They're never going to be. Oh, I say that, and then look, there's Piastri, P1, with a 134.7. Hamilton, gone quicker again. With a 134.9. Norris has gone P1 with a 134.7. Russell's gone fastest in the first sector and the second sector. This is going to be a good lap for Russell. Keeps it tidy through turn 15 and 16. It's got to be good conditions for Mercedes. If Mercedes are ever going to have another good chance for win this season, this is the best chance for win this season. Similar conditions to Canada. It's cool and dry. The Mercedes likes those conditions. Russell is brilliant around this track. So yeah, that's why he was my P1 pick. So the track evolution is quite steep, actually. By the end of FP2, we should be down in the 133s. So we're at 134.4 now. By the end of this session, we'll be in the 133s, I think, for sure. Williams again, Alexander Albon still mixing it at the top there. He was in FP1 as well. I do think this is a good track for Williams. But if I had to choose between Albon and Carlos Sainz, I would predict that Carlos Sainz would be the faster of the two in Vegas. It's a great track for Carlos Sainz. Sainz loves street circuits. He likes a track where there's walls. So It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, like everything, the free practice is always a little bit slow and a little bit dull. It will get more exciting towards the end of the session for sure. But it is a good chance for us to chat. Get in the chat, ask your questions. We can discuss things. Don't forget, we do have a poll running. Which driver's got the best helmet? Lewis Hamilton or Lando Norris? I think we can all agree. I mean, we don't all agree because someone's voting for Lando Norris's helmet, which to me looks like a Brussels sprout. Which is basically a little cabbage. Yeah, I think Lewis got the memo for his Vegas helmet. It is 4 a.m. It's not. It's 4:22. 4:22 in the UK. Gosh. I tried to have a little nap between. I couldn't do it. After FP1, which finished, what, 1:30. I thought, oh, maybe I can just get a sneaky hour or two. Yeah, I decided to power through. What do you do? You know when you've got a late night work night or whatever, or you're on nights. What's the best strategy? Is it grab a nap when you can, or just power through? Power through your day, stay awake, and then sleep afterwards. I went with the power through option. Yeah, it's an interesting circuit, this one, really. 6 kilometers long, 50 laps. Current lap record is Lando Norris. 1:34.8. Obviously, in qualifying, we will get down to the 1:33s. If you just joined us, welcome to this Las Vegas Grand Prix FP2. 35 minutes left. Currently, we've got Norris fastest on track in a 1:33.9. I told you we were getting into 1:33s before the end of FP2. Verstappen's decided to go and put a quick lap in. Hamilton's looking pretty competitive at the moment. Leclerc's looking for some pace. Hey Sal, yeah, can Norris get a sponsor from Great Bisto Gravy? I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, it does. His helmet does looks like a Brussels sprout. It does. There's no doubt about it. In FP1, Charles Leclerc was basically he wasn't. He was the quickest at the moment, and he was 7.5 tenths quicker than Hamilton. So obviously Hamilton's decided to bring the pace a little bit for FP2 and show what he's got. And there you go, Leclerc 1:33.7. Leclerc's bringing the pace now. The evolution of the track's getting quicker and quicker. But Ferraris are looking better here than I thought they would be. So it's good news. Obviously, Charles Leclerc, a lot going on in his life at the minute. He's just got engaged, hasn't he? He's getting married. Will that make him quicker or slower? He's always going to be quick. Charles Leclerc is just a quick driver. As we can tell, right, is at the top of the leaderboard right now for FP2. 32 minutes left. We've got Leclerc, 2/10 ahead of Norris. Russell, then Verstappen, then Hamilton, and Gasly mixing it in the top 10 at the moment. Albon, Piastri, Antonelli, Tsunoda, Sainz, Lawson, Colapinto, Hadjar, Behrman, Stroll, Ocon, Alonso, Bortoleto, and Hulkenberg. Aston Martin's not showing any pace yet. Yeah. But the Aston, to be fair, the Aston, there are zero updates and upgrades for that car, and there haven't been for a while. They are focusing all of their efforts on the Adrian Newey rocket ship for 2026, powered by Honda. That car is going to be something else, I'm sure of it. Fernando Alonso probably on for a third world title if Newey brings his good work, yeah, which I know he will do. I think Alonso will be on for a world title challenge, I should say, for 2026. Sal says plenty of flavors. That's it. There's plenty of Bisto flavors for that. for that Brussels sprout helmet of Norris's. Yeah, 100%. Should be on the John Lewis Christmas ad. You know, they just talk about on Sky Sports F1 that everyone's sort of speculating on the 2026 power units, how the teams are going to interpret the 2026 regulations, and I am quite excited about it because if you followed F1, you know that whenever there's a major rule or regulation change, which happens every 5 years, and it's a whole new life cycle for Formula One. The first Grand Prix in the first year of a major regulation change is always fascinating because that's when you get the most diverse cars on the grid, because everyone's interpreted those new regulations uniquely. And then what happens is, over the course of the following 18 months, everyone looks at, oh, well, they did it, they solved this better than we did. And then the cars sort of converge into almost identical looking cars by the end of the second season. But Melbourne 2026 is going to be, it'll be fascinating. There could be a 3-second difference between first and last per lap. Lawson's put a lap up in the 1:33.9. You see, Lawson has really closed the gap on his teammate this season. So Lawson sits on 38 points. Sorry, 36 points. And Isaac Hadjar's on 41 points. No, Isaac Hadjar's on 43 points. I can't even see. Oh, crikey. So Lawson closing that gap on his teammate, which is good, really, because, that's the benchmark, isn't it, for every Formula One driver? How do you compare to your teammate? Which is why Hamilton's had such a hard time this season. His performances obviously haven't been. Well, the car, Ferrari, the SF25 is not a good car. That's for sure. Lift and coast Ferrari, bad brakes, he can't run at the designed ride height. The ride height issues all season, like just problems with that car. So you forgive Hamilton for that. The real issue Hamilton's had is that is basically that Hamilton that Charles Leclerc has been so good that it sort of shines a light on Hamilton. And that's the thing in Formula One. You've got to beat your teammate. That's really the most important person to beat. Yay! Shatan, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the chat. Up at 4:30 in the morning here in the UK. Well, Aston Martin tanking weekend unless something crazy happens in both quali and the race. Get more wind tunnel for the new generation of F1 cars from 26 onwards to gain momentum. You know, I wouldn't put it past Adrian Newey either, you know. He knows Adrian Newey going into that team, his sole focus since he's been there has been the 26 car. And you know, the season is what it is, right? The 25 season is what it is. It's a nothing season for them. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're just like, you know, they don't want to improve, you know, because Adrian Newey wants that wind tunnel time, doesn't he? So it could be that. It could be. You can imagine if just Adrian Newey's just literally nerfed all the, basically just like nerfed all the cars just to guarantee that they don't start moving up the constructors. Also surprising, some of the other teams bringing upgrades during this part of the season. It is. I don't think anyone's brought anything to this. It's only, I'd say, since I can tell you exactly actually. So let's have a little look. I don't think anyone's brought any upgrades since Mexico City. Yeah, no one brought anything to Sao Paulo. But Mexico City, you had like Red Bull brought 4, was it 4? Yeah, 4 updates to Red Bull. No, there hasn't been an update to the Aston Martin, by the way. I can tell you now. Since Monza. That was round 16. And obviously we're on round 22. That's 6 Grand Prix where Aston Martin have brought nothing. But yeah, the Red Bull team brought the most updates, and that was at Mexico City. But no one's brought anything to Sao Paulo. No one's brought anything here. Yeah. Haas is the most recent one. Let's look. So Haas brought some up. They brought 5 updates to the United States, according to my sources here. 5 updates, and there was a lot of updates. To be fair, they brought floor edge, floor body, floor fences, rear corner, side pod inlet. Red Bull in Mexico City brought front corner engine cover, floor body, edge wings. Yeah, there's not been too much. Yeah, so Aston Martin hasn't brought a huge upgrade package since Silverstone. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Oh, so the one they brought in Monza was track specific, was it? Was it like everyone, a low downforce wing, the Monza wing? Yeah, and Williams, we know they're saving for 2026. Haven't bought any kind of big upgrade for a long while. Yeah, I just think the teams like Williams and Alpine and Aston, I think they're all just they've almost got to sort of put all their resources into 26, because the $10 million sort of increase in prize money for going up the constructors at where they're positioned down at the lower mid, it's like, does it even matter? You know, what really matters is that wind tunnel time and developing the new car. That's really way more valuable. Really? There's going to be an Adrian Newey documentary. Ah, I'm here for it. Bring it on. Do you know what? There'll be an Adrian Newey documentary at the end of 26 when he's delivered another championship winning car. Because I think Newey's found something in the regulations. I do. From the way he's been speaking and from his interviews, I do. I think he's found something. I think he's found a grey area that he can exploit, which is what he's good at, which is what Newey's good at. So yeah, that's what I think. I think Newey is gonna. I think he's found something in the regulations. Plus, I think Honda. You know how Honda, the greatest engine manufacturer in Formula One history, really. And if they bring their A game, Newey brings his A game. They've already brought in Enrico Cardile, who's taking care of the chassis. You know, they got Cal, who's yes, he's CEO, team principal, but he's also brilliant with power units. So he'll be working closely with Honda. Not to mention the ex Ferrari guy who was pretty much the godfather of simulators, coming to do the calibration. Because what Adrian Newey said is we've got all these brilliant new machinery. We've got this amazing state of the art simulator, but it's going to take 2 years to calibrate it. That's what he said, to actually get meaningful data out of simulations. So they brought in is it Benoit? I think his name is Ferrari guy from Schumacher days. Literally the guy who invented simulation. I'm so tired. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I've done this is like an 18. I've been up 18 hours to do this, but yeah, I can't remember his name. It skipped out of my head. But he was basically the godfather of simulation. So yeah, I think Aston Martin are spending the money in the right places. I do. Oh, we got a red flag. I'm not sure why. So we've got a red flag, and I'm not sure why there's a red flag at the moment. But Lando Norris currently the fastest man. Antonelli P2, Leclerc P3, Hulkenberg up there P4. Then Hadjar and Lawson very close together with just a hundredth between them. Then we've got George Russell, Alexander Albon, Verstappen P9, Hamilton down P10. Again, see, this is the thing with Hamilton. You don't want to be 4/10ths behind your teammate. It's just too big a gap, and that's the problem for Hamilton's had all season. People are always going to be comparing him to, but what people don't understand is what Leclerc's done this season is actually quite phenomenal. Leclerc is just hitting his prime. He's 28 years old. He's got all the racecraft you could want. He's quick, but now he's got maturity into his drive as well. It's really now or never. He's at that perfect time to win a world championship. And if Ferrari aren't able to give him the car that he deserves, then he will go somewhere else. We talked about one of the live streams earlier this week about his manager is a guy called Nicholas Todd, who's John Todd, who used to be the team principal at Ferrari and then the president of the FIA. It's his son who manages Charles. And Nicholas Todd was saying that Aston Martin have been in contact with him about 2027, about Leclerc's appetite to move teams after all the drama that's been happening at Ferrari. And I think it's a real possibility that I think the writing's on the wall for Fernando Alonso. I think 45 next year. I think even if Newey builds him a rocket ship, which I think he will, powered by Honda, and he wins a world title, I think even Fernando, probably be his decision. But I think he's already thinking that next year's his last year in F1. Sorry about that, my mouth's so dry. And if that happens, and if Fernando does retire at the end of next year, they're going to need a number one driver, because even if they keep Lance Stroll, because Papa Stroll says that this is a situation, then I think they're going to need a number one driver. And whether it's a Leclerc or I know Newey loves Max Verstappen, but it's highly unlikely they'll get Max. But yeah, Charles Leclerc is definitely getting courted. Yeah, Shaitan. I saw reports about both Leclerc and Hamilton are feeling positive about their simulation results for Ferrari's 2026 car. However, given that, they have to say in Elkan's defense. Well, let me tell you, I read the same stuff, and I tell you what was really interesting. Let me tell you what was really interesting about the same article. Both drivers said they are happier about the 26 car and the simulator, but I thought the more telling thing was that the engineers praised Lewis Hamilton for Lewis's feedback and the work they got done at Maranello this week in the simulator. They said that Lewis's feedback was really helpful for their development of the 26 car from the simulator. Now, yeah, of course, we're in brand Ferrari times, right? Like PR damage limitation. John Elkann really rocked that boat. And it was already a very fragile team. Really, it was. But yeah, what's come out of that is what's come out of that is basically everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. We saw in the media day today, Leclerc and Hamilton were both sort of excusing John Elkann, saying, "No, we speak to him all the time. We've got a great relationship." It was all trying to drive the team forward. It was all brand Ferrari. But everything that's come out of Ferrari over the last 10 days has just been on brand. And I'm quite sure that that is John Elkann and the team just setting the narrative. Hey, Gemma. Wow, you're up early. Are you up late or are you up early? Which way round is it? Your video from earlier covering the press day, brilliant, with the clips from the drivers. Oh, great. Thanks, Gemma. You thought it was good? Well, I thought it was interesting. I thought Lewis looked like he was scared to death. Yeah, exactly, Gemma. That's what I thought. Gemma said they definitely looked like guys were standing behind the cameras with guns. Their body language was telling. Oh, you woke up early. Good. You set your alarm to get up early. Up at 6 a.m. UK time. It's 4:45. I don't know what clock you're looking at, Gemma. The time is 4:45 UK time, not 6 a.m. 4:45. Shaitan says, I can only trust Ferrari until they change their team culture and also showed that they can win championships. Yeah, Ferrari needs to look. Ferrari need wholesale change. The brand Ferrari PR that we've seen today is just everyone knows it's nonsense, right? Everyone knows it is. But the thing about sports, here's the thing about sports: everything gets forgiven when you're winning. So if Ferrari do bring a championship winning car in 26, it all gets forgotten. You know, winning changes everything. Then everyone is best friends. The team's getting on. Hamilton can do no wrong. Leclerc can do no wrong. And even if it's Leclerc that wins and Hamilton second, but Ferrari are winning, everyone's a winner at that point. You know, even Fred Vasseur obviously gets his pat on the back. Like, but when it's there was a really great question, and it was about blame culture, and that was where Lewis went, That was a really good question. And then he pauses and he says, I don't think there is a blame culture, but you could tell from his immediate reaction about the question about blame culture was that, yeah, there is a blame culture at Ferrari. We've seen it this week. Let me just explain the blame culture at Ferrari, and I can take you through it. First of all, Elkin blames the drivers. Then everyone pushes back and says, how can you blame the drivers? The engineers have been crap. They haven't even managed to solve lift and coast, and they haven't solved the ride height issue. And then the engineers push back and say, hang on a minute, it's not our problem. It was Enrico Cardile designed the car for 24, and then he left to go to Aston Martin. So it's not our fault. It's Enrico's fault for leaving to go to Aston Martin. And then John Elkin's camp says, well, it's not John's fault that he reacted and said those things that he said, because Fred Vasseur was on the phone immediately after Sao Paulo giving him a feedback. He didn't even watch the race. So he's reacting to Fred Vasseur's conversation. So if that's not blame culture at Ferrari, then I don't know what is. That's literally their blame culture. In 10 days, we've seen it from every department, everyone pointing the finger at other people. The only people that haven't blamed anyone else really is the drivers. They've not really pointed the finger. They've always been consistent. Said the car's not good enough. Gemma says you should be snoozing right now. Yeah, Gemma, you should be. If you're supposed to be up at 6, you got an extra hour. Shaitan says, did you also see reports from various sources saying about numerous positive updates, not just about Aston Martin's 26 car, but also about the development of the Honda engine power unit? Yeah, the Honda power unit is going to be epic, and do you know why? It's because, and the reason why it's going to be epic in the Aston is because what Enrico Cardile said was because Honda have got an exclusive relationship with Aston. It's literally like they're developing their own power unit. So they can put the request to Honda and say, hey, we need this. And because Honda don't have to dilute their design or tailor it because they've got to supply 2 or 3 different teams, they're able to just action the request from Aston Martin. So they are working like hand in glove. So the Honda Aston Martin relationship for 26 is going to be, I think it's going to be fantastic, and I am absolutely confident the Honda's power unit will be every bit as strong as Mercedes, every bit. Gemma said Fred is a little tattletale who doesn't support his drivers the way Horner did at Red Bull. Well, that's true. Horner supported his drivers almost to a fault. You know, Horner's the guy where even if your driver's wrong, he still fights for your driver. And I actually think that's what you need in sport. He'd fight for his drivers even when they were wrong, right? Stan says, it said that Honda back in 2015 with McLaren were only good with one part, but terrible with the rest of the components. Now it seems like there's no statements about this with the Honda 2026 engine. Yeah, I don't think, if you think about how Honda, even to agree to, you know, for Honda to even sort of be in the game for 26. Same with Newey. I think there's an element that Adrian Newey, because he's now a team owner, he's 67 years old. First time he's become a team owner. Even though he's the MVP of Formula One history, he's won 26 championships. More than anyone else in history and more than anyone else ever will again. But now he owns a team. I'm not saying he's not always brought his best work, because of course he has. But this is it, right? Like, he owns a team now. I mean, that's why when he came to Aston Martin in March, he said, I don't want anything to do with the 25 car. I just want to focus on 26. Now, because of that, you've got somebody who's laying it all out on the line. Like, this is it. This is his, you know, his legacy. Well, he's already got a legacy, but this is his. This is him. now he's an owner. I can't see him not bringing his absolute best work that he's ever done. I bet he's never worked as hard. And I think Honda are in a bit of a similar situation. Honda have got all their eggs in the Aston Martin basket. And, so it's not like Honda, it's not like Mercedes right now where they can say, well, the Mercedes hasn't won a World Constructors, but our engine has, right? It's in the McLaren. And Mercedes have got four teams running the Mercedes power unit. So even if Mercedes don't win, if Williams win, it's like, that's they're running a Mercedes engine. Honda are with Aston Martin, and that's it. They've got one shot. If they're going to win it, they're winning it with Aston Martin. So I think that adds even more pressure to Honda to deliver a great engine. Because if you're Ferrari and you're supplying 3 teams on the grid, we know Haas and Cadillac are not going to win the constructors. That would be, outrageous if they did. But Mercedes, they're supplying Williams, they're supplying Alpine, they're supplying McLaren and themselves. And we've seen it this year. Isn't it wild that Mercedes built the engine for McLaren, and McLaren have just absolutely took everybody to school this year because of their aero, their design, that absolutely what they've done this year with the aero has been phenomenal. And so if you're Mercedes, you got to be thinking, shit, we that's our engine in that car. So they are going to get a few more minutes of free practice too. So because the evolution of this track, I think in qualifying it's always going to be the way. Last person to a lap, best chance to go quickest. So you're going to see quite an exciting qualifying tomorrow night. It's all going to happen. It's going to be one of those. The teams are going to have to get it right on when they release their cars onto the track. Now, we have seen teams, Ferrari especially this season, getting that wrong. Their timing's wrong on releasing their cars on the track so the drivers can at least get 2 flying laps in. But it's never been more vital than it is here at Vegas. So qualifying is going to be a game of who can get out on the track the latest tomorrow. Gemma's in the chat. Horner is the guy you want to have your back in a fight. Yeah, it's true. It is true. He would go to bat for you. Oh, Gemma's talking about Fred here. Ooh, Fred cowering in the bleachers, calling John with his snitchy race reports. It's true. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ferrari need a Horner type character to run their team, but you were right in your early videos. They need wholesale change over there from the ground up. Did you see my latest comment? Let's have a look, Shaitan. Which one? I've missed it, Shaitan. He's a... Said that Honda back in 2015 with McLaren were only good with one part, but terrible with the rest of the components. Who said that about Honda in 2015? I mean, I'm backing Honda. I'll tell you who else I'm backing as well for a good power unit in 2026. The Audi power unit, all the data that's coming out about that is not going to be a slouch. It is not going to be a slouch. it's they've already got it on the dyno. Like they've had it on the dyno for 6 months. The power's going to be, they've already got the power. Now they're just working on reliability, and that tells me that they have got a pretty solid power unit already. No data like that's coming out from the Ferrari power unit. The Ferrari guys are well behind. Well behind. So just 2.5 minutes left now of free practice 2. Norris currently quickest. Then we have Antonelli. Leclerc P3. Hulkenberg P4. I wonder what ride height they're running at Sauber. Interesting. Hadjar, Lawson, Russell P7, Albon P8. Verstappen P9, Hamilton P10, Stroll P11, Gasly, then Sainz. I was expecting Sainz to go better here, actually. Sainz, Piastri, Tsunoda, Colapinto, Behrman, Alonso, Ocon, Bortoletto. So why is this red flagged again? It's annoying for the drivers. They've literally just got back on track for the last 2.5 minutes. Just get a couple more laps in. And I don't understand why in free practice, when a session gets red flagged, why they do not allow for a 10-minute window that can be added. No more. You just give them, so if it gets red flagged multiple times and the teams don't get the practice in, there should be a mandatory extra time of say 10 minutes allocated for them. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, even 5 minutes, whatever, but they should extend it by an arbitrary amount of time. Gemma says, Ferrari, let's sell more merch, road cards, PR. Get the driver to toe the party line. Drivers, for fuck's sake, this is shit now. What on earth did we sign up for? John Elkin, will everyone just do what I say and want? He's so out of touch. He's up in his ivory tower. The ex-Twitter movement, Elkin out was brilliant. Ooh, harsh words. That's fighting talk. Well, that's the thing, that they've basically just sort of hunkered down, haven't they? The Ferrari team have just retreated into their little box, shut everyone out, trying to solve it all internally. Nothing to see here. We're not going to comment on John's comments. Yeah, and if you do ask us, we're just going to say everything's fine. They're just not going to put any more fuel onto it until there's a situation where they catch the drivers at a moment where the teams let them down in a massive way. You never know. You might see them lose their composure and say, I can't believe they red flagged this race for a car that's actually down behind the barrier. So I'm just watching the footage now of Charles Leclerc, because it's his car there's a problem with, which caused the red flag. He's pulled out the pits. Turn 1. That's all we saw. It sounded like an engine problem to me. So the car sounded rough, okay? And he's pulled over on the runoff area behind the barriers, and they red flagged it. I mean, come on. I don't think they should have red flagged that. Gemma's here for the soap opera of Ferrari. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out why it got red flagged so much. I mean that is crazy. Oh, Shan says those statements are tender from reports from Carlos Michael, journalist. Yeah, I like everyone. You know, he's probably right. To be fair, because I do find that sort of if you're a fan and you're a journalist, they do tend to be honest. It's the journalists who have got where they're literally in the pockets of their teams, the manufacturers. I mean, that's what I like about having a fan community because truthfully, it's highly unlikely that Ferrari are ever going to invite us to a Formula One Grand Prix, but we can always tell our honest opinion, can't we? We always react to the news. We can tell our honest opinion without like we don't care, right? We're not. It's not like being Sky Sports F1 where you got to toe the party line. We can join up the dots, react to the news, say it how it is, and I like that. That's what's great about having a fan community. F1 Grandstand, I love it. But yeah, that's the end of free practice too. Lando Norris quickest. What time we back? I think it's midnight, isn't it? So yeah, so okay, so 12:30 tomorrow night, and then 4 a.m. again. Yeah, wow. So again, I shall see you in about 12 hours, no, 24 hours time. Oh my God, I am so tired. I can't even think straight. I will be back at 12 midnight, half past midnight, GMT tomorrow, and then 4 o'clock in the morning. Thanks to everyone for keeping me company. Thank you so much to Shatan, Gemma. Who else have we had in the chat? Of course, we've had Sal, we've had Lyjan. Oh, I'm going to end the poll as well. So I said, which driver had the best helmet out of Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris? It's definitely Lewis Hamilton. Definitely. He got the Vegas memo. Go and check it out if you haven't seen it. It's the most glitzy Vegas helmet you can imagine. Lyjan, thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining me tonight. Yeah, we're back tomorrow night. I promise I'm going to try and get a little bit of sleep before then. Thanks so much for keeping us company. I will see you all tomorrow. Ta-ta.